right, so again, welcome. Glad to see everybody here tonight. We're going to get into our agenda. Item number 4, we don't have any items for number 4, so we're going to go to item number 5, which is public testimony. Citizens are invited to speak on any topic or agenda item before and during the meeting by response to the mayor and council be recognized. However, unless the item is specifically listed on the agenda, the council is required under the Texas Open Meetings Act to limit our response with a statement of specific factual information reciting the city's existing policy on the issue or directing the person making the inquiry to visit with city staff about the issue. No council deliberation is permitted for topics not specifically listed on this agenda. Do we have anyone wishing to speak during the public testimony time? Seeing none, we will now move to our consent agenda. All items under this section are recommended for approval for the consent agenda. These items are of routine nature and require only brief deliberation by council. Council reserves the right to remove any item on the consent agenda for further deliberation. The only item on the consent agenda is A, approved minutes from August 30th, 2022 special call meeting.
Move for approval of minutes for August 30th, 2022, that's special call meeting.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from August 30th, 2022 special meeting. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries. Move to item number 8, which is action from August 30th, 2022 public hearing. Consider approval of ordinance number 1358-2022, affixing and levying municipal ad valorem taxes on all taxable property within the corporate limits of the city of River Oaks, Texas for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2022 and ending September 30th, 2023 at the rate of 0.754168 per $100, and for directing the assessment thereof, providing for a date on which such taxes become due and delinquent, together with penalties and interest thereon, providing for place of payment, providing for approval of the tax rolls presented to the city council.
What we discussed is the 754168 is the highest rate that you can adopt and still not call for an election. In that case, that is what is called the voter-approved rate. And in the voter-approved rate, we also have included in it the debt rate, which is this year, including the bonds, we have come out to be 0.101169. So you add that to your voter-approved rate. In the study that we did, which came out to be 0.652999. When you add the two together, that's where you come up with a 0.754168 is the total amount that the city could assess at this point. In doing our budget this year, as you know, we had a deficit budget of $128,000 using this tax rate. I have been directed to look at the lower tax rate of 73,2086, and in that one loses about $84,000 worth of revenue and causes the budget to be about $213,000 in the red. I'm not the budget that we presented, because we have so many vacancies right now to fill. I don't see filling everything, because I base the budget on actual numbers. I mean, like every employee is here every day and all that. I don't see having to go into reserves, as we talked about, to get that money. However, on the con side of it is if we go through, as I gave you my 5-year budget plan for the next 5 years, at the rate of 754168, we would be in the black in year 2. But on the rate of 732086, we wouldn't see being in the black until on the 4th year. And of course, the financial advisor advises me that, because of our rating, when we are doing debt, it's best to show a budget in a 5-year plan that's going to be in the black a lot sooner. It makes lenders feel a lot more comfortable. So, with all that said, we had a public hearing the other night, and so you're down to voting for which rate do you want. You can't go any higher than the 754168, but you can go lower. So, unless anybody in the council or anybody has any questions, I can go over all the particulars you want. I will tell you on a $100,000 home, that for maintenance and maintenance, we are actually only increasing the tax $30 with the .754168 on maintenance and operations. Now that's maintenance and operations. If you go the other tax rate, you're increasing it by a little over $11 at 1.55%. So that's the differences in the two. If we do change anything to do with the tax rate, I will need to bring the budget back at the next council meeting to amend it, only because it's different. But that's no big deal. I just
We got
saying
one next week.
the 13th.
Yes.
Council thought?
With the money we got in the bank on other stuff, I just can't see looking the voter in the eye and telling them we're raising it. It's gonna get raised anyway because of the debt service. It's gonna get raised anyway because of the increase in the property values. And the $100,000 home deal, I just watched the worst piece of property and the worst house, I think, in River Oaks go for $156,000 as is. And will probably sell for over $200,000 when they get through
Well,
polishing it.
the only reason I use 100,000 because it's in the statute to use.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the average.
No.
Right.
The average.
Double that, make it $200,000 is $60. I just, the way you look them in the eye is you say, we don't have the amount of reserves we're supposed to have. But, so we're prudent that we're bringing in as much as we can to cover the expenses that you have, just like as families we do. When you look down the road, though, we'll be doing this every year from now on. Yeah, we want a new city hall and, raise everything in every department, so. The way you fix it is by cutting the budget. 1 year, we need to 1 year reward the voters during this bad economy and COVID and all this other stuff, which we're really not rewarding them because their property value is going up anyway. And personally, I'm fine with rewarding them. Let's pull out the expenditure budget and let's start cutting it. And then we're good, right? But if you're going to adopt an expenditure budget, we may not adopt the revenues to cover it and not dig ourselves, taking advantage of past councils that were in the black to fund, this year. If we had plenty of money, we wouldn't be issuing debt tonight. Right. But I also consider the reason we have to issue debt is it's an emergency, and that's what emergency. Well, I know, but if we had sufficient reserves, then we wouldn't be issuing debt. We would use our reserves to cover that, because that's an emergency. But we know with the water treatment.
Marvin, if we go into the reserves, and let's say we're fully staffed with a .73, and that 213 comes out of what our current reserves is, does that put us below what we're supposed to have?
Oh, we're already below what we're supposed to have. Right now we got, I believe we got $1,059,000. We're supposed to have $1,500,000. So if you had to go in there and get that out, then you're going to drop it down to about $900,000, which is about 50 days of operations. Our policy says it's recommended to do 90 days of operations.
So with the .73 and assuming every position is filled because